Welcome to the Business of Hearing podcast, the number one marketing and practice growth podcast for high-performing private practice hearing care leaders. It's Friday, and this is my end-of-week roundup of what's top of mind after 7 days of helping some of the world's best private practices to attract high-quality patients, fight the evil forces of manufacturer-owned chains, and be impossible to compete with. My name's Ollie Luke. Pull up a chair, pour yourself a drink, and let's have a chat. All right, the end of the year is near. We are touching 2025, and look, we're approaching the end of 2024, of course, and I think this is just a nice little moment to look at where we're at and consider right now, in this little week between the holidays and New Year, where should the focus be ahead of 2025? Where should you be giving consideration? And if you can make some time to focus on the high payoff activities to move certain things in your current practice in order to make meaningful differences, where would that focus go? And I've got three things. This isn't going to be a long episode, but I think it's going to be an episode that will give you very clear direction of things that you can do right now to get prepared for 2025 to be in the best position possible, hit the ground running in the new year, and ensure you're set up for a big banner year. You ready for this? Here's the first. The first is increasing your prices. Now we hear this, right? Increase your prices, increase your prices, increase your prices, but we're going to upset patients. This isn't the right thing. Our competitors are less than us. There's a lot of reasons why we talk ourselves out of increasing your prices. But when was the last time you increased your prices, right? Are you doing this annually? Did you do this several years ago? Because I'm going to assume over the past year, your costs have increased. The cost to keep the lights on, the cost for salaries, the cost for your cost of goods and your units that you're selling, like all of your costs continue to increase. And unless you're increasing the numbers that you charge patients, then who's taking the hit? You. Like you are costing profitability out of the business as a result of not putting your prices up. Now, here's the biggest thing about putting your prices up is, firstly, there's a lot you can do to change the numbers financially without changing them emotionally. And what I mean by that is there is tweaks in your pricing you can make where you can collect more money, but you don't really change the financial weight of that buying decision or the emotional weight of that buying decision to the patient. So, for example, if you charge $69.90, taking it up to $72.90, it doesn't really change the emotional weight. It's a $7,000 decision in the patient's mind. Nobody says yes to this or no to this. So there's little tweaks that way around. But this pricing increase battle, based on my experience, is the majority of the stress, pressure, and reasons not to do it are our own head shit rather than the truth. And what I mean by that is, look, let's just play this out. Let's say you increase your prices tomorrow. Who knows? And what I mean by that is a new patient that walks through the door who gets their options presented to them. Like, they don't know what your prices were last week, last month, last year, nor do they really care. They care about their options that are being presented to them right now. So like that's not considered in this emotional decision, right? They don't know. It doesn't really matter to them. Who are the other people that may know what your prices used to be who will probably see the price increase? Well, you've got your existing patients, right? Somebody that purchased technology 2, 3, 4 years ago, they're now coming in exploring an upgrade. They may see that the price today is more than it was in 2021. So is everything, right? Is that patient going to be disgruntled because your prices have increased over a 3 to 4 year period? If they are angry that your prices have increased, then I think that's a reflection on the patient, not on you. Because the patient, to get to you, they've got in their car, which probably costs them more to run now than it did. They've drove past the gas station where the price of gas is significantly more than it was 3 to 4 years ago. Every element, the coffee they stopped to get on the way is more expensive because soya milk has increased in price in 3 to 4 years. Like everything is increased. So their expectation for you to be the same price as you were in 2021, like that, I think that exists more in our head than the truth. So I think all the reasons why you should increase your prices are very logical and very correct. And let's make no bone about it. Your job here is to make profit as an enterprise. Of course, great patient care, care about the community, all them things are super key. But you need to make profit and run a profitable business so you can be healthy and deliver on the promises that you've made to your patients and staff, and naturally build a life for yourself. Because is this all worth it if we're not building a good life for ourselves? We take on all the strain, we take on all the stress, everything that goes wrong is our fault. it's got to pay us. It's got to pay us correctly so that we can have the nice lifestyle, build a nice future for the family and the people that we care about. Profit is the way to do that, and you need that profit. Don't worry about your competitors. You are not your competitors. A fight with others, trying to be better prices, a fight to the bottom. Make more and spend a little more to advance the patient experience and create your point of difference. So that's the first one. I'd be giving big consideration to your pricing right now. Here's the second thing I'd be doing right now as I look at 2025, getting prepared for upgrades. Because 2020 was a terrible year for private practice because seeing patients was very, very difficult. 2024 has been a year where we're on that 4-year milestone since 2020. Knowing that 4 years is the usual cycle for upgrades traditionally, no wonder 2024 has not been a great year of revenue producing activities from the database because we're playing that 4-year milestone since 2020. If we reflect back to 2020, what happened was 2021 became a very good year for many practices due to the pent-up demand built from 2020. People who needed hearing aids, people who upgraded hearing aids, they got pushed. The economy was quite good in 2021 because people got given money. They didn't have a lot to spend when they were locked in their house in the same ways, and all of a sudden 2021 was a good year of selling hearing devices and helping people on their journey to better hearing. 2025 is the 4-year milestone since 2021, and as a result we're going to see a lot of upgrades, we're going to see a lot of opportunities, we're going to see a lot of people that need new technology that bought in 2021. Your upgrade strategy in 2025 is going to be so key. Doing the same thing that others do of sending a bland mailer when new technology lands isn't the approach. Give consideration to what else you can do right now as people trick to that 4-year mark to have a seamless conversation to help them to explore new technology. Here's a really simple one you can do. Contact the patient to let them know, hey, it's coming up to the 4-year mark since you invested in better hearing. At this stage, many of our patients make one of the following decisions. They explore new technology with a brand new service plan. They step into an extended care plan. They pay out of pocket for appointments, whatever it may be. But how can you have a gradual conversation now so that the sheer number of people that are going to be due something new are logically led towards an appointment? This could be come in for a deep clean check. You're hearing aid to 4 years. We need to do a review on them. Come for a conversation. We're going to fit you with some better technology, send you for a coffee while we do this deep clean on your existing devices. Like, there's so much you can do, but you need a plan. Don't just expect people to upgrade naturally, and don't wait for the manufacturer to drop new technology and you use a generic mailer to send that new technology has arrived and it's got more channels, more flux capacitors, it's got AI in it that nobody seems to understand. Like, make this logical, have empathy, do the right thing for the patient and communicate it very well, because 2025 will be a really good year of upgrades if you do it correctly. And the more money you can make from your database, the better, right? That is the gold mine of your organization. So give big focus and consideration to that. Here's the third thing I'd be looking at as we enter 2025. Give yourself an audit. How well are you set up for younger patients? Because we know we've got a big boomer trend right now. Patients born between 1946 and 1964, that boomer audience that hold far more wealth, that make buying decisions in very different ways, that frequently upgrade technology because they've had iPhones for the past 10, 15 years and are used to upgrading every 2 to 3 years. Like, we've got this beautiful generation of people coming through. The challenge with this generation is they don't want to go to a practice that is for the generation previous to them. They don't want to go and spend time in a space that feels like it's for old people, especially when they may still be actively working, when they still have the super active lifestyle of a 70-year-old today. They don't want to be hanging around with 96-year-olds who take 10 minutes to cover 10 yards. Like, they are in a very different space, and your practice needs to be positioned to be attractive towards them. That means just have consideration. Look at your space. Does the waiting room feel like a waiting room that somebody young and active wants to spend time in? The magazines on the table, are these magazines that are focused on a young active individual, or are these magazines that make the young active individual feel like they're spending time with their parents? Just all these considerations, the posters, what do they see? The signage. Does this feel like the place where young active people hang out? Or does this feel like they're stepping into an environment that is for people older than them, which creates more of a reason that they'll probably go somewhere else that feels like it caters for them? So just give your practice fresh eyes audit. Give consideration to out of office appointments. Like, what, and this is, I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here. If you want active working patients who are still have a normal job, that are still busy and retiring much later, then give some consideration to the hours that you open. If the average work week for an average working person is 9 till 5, your working office hours being 9 till 5 as well causes conflict. Like, the patient needs to take time away from work. They need to take a day off work to come and visit you. It's going to be way more convenient for them to just visit Costco at 8 p.m. or on a weekend. Like, we are defeating ourselves by having the same working hours as most people's working hours. If we want patients that are still working, that are younger, we probably need to give consideration to who can keep the damn lights on between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. on a Tuesday evening and create workers' appointments, especially for them. So, like, these are the things I'd be considering right now. But 2025 is going to be a very, very good year for private practice, and we're entering a very golden generation for private practice. Next week, in our first episode of 2025, I'm going to share 4 big reasons why the future 5 to 10 years is going to be a bloody golden period for hearing healthcare, and excited to share that with you. But as you get a few days downtime now between the holidays and New Year, give consideration to these. Work on your pricing. How can you be collecting more money and being paid what you need to be paid? How do you ensure that you're set up to maximize upgrades in 2025? And how do you give your practice an audit to ensure all the little things that you may become blind to just because you see them day to day? We're giving consideration. Is that practice set up for a younger patient with the boomer trend coming at a crazy, crazy scale? But hope you've had a wonderful 2024. Excited to share so much more content with you, so many new ideas, some of the things that are working right now for private practice hearing care clinics as we enter 2025. And I will see you next year. And there we have it. Another episode has come to an end, and I have a quick favour to ask. If you have found this helpful, then who do you know who should listen to this podcast? I strongly believe a rising tide lifts all boats, and right now, private practice needs to stick together to fight these big, gormless groups and these manufacturer-owned Goliaths that are looking to take market share from us. Consider who should be listening, pass on the word about the Business of Hearing podcast, and I'll see you again next week.